I heard something the other day that really stuck with me. And it wasn't that having twins as they grow gets easier. You just get better. And I just was
Hmm.
like, that is so true. Like nothing is getting easier. You're just getting better and you're the rock star.
Hello, and welcome to the Twin Mom Life Podcast. I'm your host, Jess. I created this podcast to help build community, connection, and most importantly, friendships among moms of multiples. Being a twin mom can be amazing and magical. That twin bond is unlike anything I've ever witnessed. But it can also be isolating and overwhelming. I'll be chatting with other twin moms, diving deep into the twin experience, giving advice on what works for us so you don't have to learn the hard way. Juggling two babies at the same time is challenging, but I'm confident we can learn from each other and figure out how to raise these babies together. Welcome to the podcast. Today we have Dani. How are you doing today?
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I feel like with being a twin mom, when I first became a twin mom, I felt like I was so alone. I'm the only one who's ever had twins, like in my entire life. Like no one's ever going to understand it. And it's so funny because just naturally, and me and you kind of met naturally, just naturally, like I'll be anywhere and someone's like, I have twins. I'm a twin mom. My siblings are twins. All like everyone has twins, knows twins, is a twin, like out of the woodworks, but it's always like crossing. And I don't know if it's like the twin stroller of it all, but so anytime I get the opportunity to chat with another twin mom, I'm like, please. Yes,
It's so
please.
fun. We need it. Twin moms need other twin moms. That's like the whole point of this podcast is like to twin moms unite, you know?
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely. Okay, and I feel like I have to share this now, how we met, because
Yes.
it is, I literally was just like, I bow down to you, twin mama goddess. So we were at a conference and I spotted a double stroller. And I feel like anytime I see a double stroller, I'm like double taking. And I walk over and you are just casually tandem breastfeeding your twin girls at at a conference.
But
And
you
I
have to
was
tell them
so
like where
impressed.
about at the conference that they had a makeshift nursery, which was part of like the baby center activation. So I'm like, there's a nursing chair here. Shoot, there's a crib in here. I might even put him down for a nap. But yeah, I'm like, there was a breastfeeding pillow. Like I was all set up and I'm like, no one, usually I'll like try to be like a little bit discreet here and there, but I'm like, we're at mom 2.0. Like
Yes.
everybody's a mom. No one was batting an eye. Like people were just like walking by. And I felt bad because I had so many questions for you. I wanted to chat your ear off and I was like working the conference because I actually was like doing the content for that baby center activation. So I have like I had to plan out with them too, like my schedule. And I had to put like, I need 30 minutes to nurse. And then it was like, boom, 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 interview, 30 minutes to nurse. Da, 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 da. So it
Oh,
was,
that's
I'm like,
intense.
okay. I was like, I hope people are like, oh, what are you up to? I'm like, it's not on the
Like,
schedule. Like I felt so bad.
well, I felt bad because I didn't realize, like, when I walked over, like, you had like a cover or something. So I didn't
Yeah.
realize that you were nursing. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be respectful of you and give you like privacy and like a
I
breath because I knew how busy you were at that
But
conference.
you know what? I always tell people I'm like, the best time to have a conversation with me is literally when I'm nursing and I can't do anything on my phone. Like there's nothing I can't go clean. I can't go pack a diaper. There's nothing I could do except sit there. I'm like, it's the perfect time. So sometimes I think I was at the park the other day and someone's like, oh, I was like nursing the babies and someone's like, oh, I'll give you, and I'm like, no, no, no. This is actually a good time because after that, they need a pouch. This kid's over on the playground. The twins
Sure.
are rolling down a hill. Like this is the perfect time to engage in conversation.
Yes.
But yeah, I think people are like, oh, nursing, it's like a private thing. I'm like, no, privacy went out the door, I think on like my like second OB appointment. And that's just how it's been ever since.
Sure. Well, I was so impressed by you. And then I was like, oh my gosh, that was freaking Dani Morin. That was just wild. It was just so funny that just the way we met and everything. I was just like, can't wait to learn more about this twin mama. So
Yeah.
impressed by you. So can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah. So I am on social media. That's how we were both at 2.0. And I started on social media maybe 5 or 6 years ago. So I lost my first son to a Baltic amber teething necklace at a negligent childcare. It's a very tragic story. This happened almost 11 years ago. It'll be 11 years this October. And
I'm so
it
sorry, Mama.
literally, thank you. It literally shook my world in the worst possible way. I wasn't sure. I was a single mom. Like, will I ever be a mom again? Will I ever have a boy again? Will I ever have kids? Like, there was just like, I just wanted to go with him at that point. Like, it was just so bad. But a couple years later, once I started getting some clarity and doing some healing, I decided I really missed my son. Like, he's back here. I always miss my son. But I also really missed motherhood. And I realized motherhood was my whole purpose and mission in life. Even though back in the day, I never thought I'd be a mom. God has a crazy way of showing you your purpose in life. So I knew I wanted to be a mom again, and I was dating and it was not panning out. And so I went to the sperm bank and I made my son Rhett. I got pregnant on the first
Yes,
try, and
girl.
it was very calculated, how to calculate ovulation and all of the things. And it's a very natural thing. You just use a syringe. People are like, she did IVF. I'm like, I never did IVF. And actually, a fun fact is that, kind of a bittersweet fact, actually. So it was COVID. So when I went in for my first ultrasound, they start your ultrasounds, maybe you used to do them at 7 or 8 weeks, and now they do them at 10 or 12 weeks, just because they weren't able to have all these people in the office. And I found out at 10 weeks that I was actually pregnant with twins at one point, but 35% of twin pregnancies are vanishing twin pregnancies. And so, I found out that I was having twins and not having twins on the same day, which was very bittersweet, because I was like, oh my gosh, my two kids. So I grieved a little bit, but I also was like, let me just celebrate this pregnancy that I am having a healthy baby and stuff like that. But it was it always had in the back of my mind, I wonder what that would have been like having twins. Now people are like, does twins pass down to your family? How do you, and I'm like, fraternal, also my age, I was well into my 30s. I'm well in my late 30s now. And so with age, you ovulate more. I was also taking Vitex to help regulate my period, which I guess also increases your likelihood to ovulate. So I saw something on TikTok recently. It was like, be careful on Vitex. You could have twins. And I was like, yeah, that happened. So I always kind of had that in the back of my head. And the doctor was telling me at the time, she's like, I'm sorry this happened, but good news, they're like, good news, this baby's doing really good and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, that's great. I'll stay in the positive. But she's like, I just want to let you know, due to your age, I think I had asked, how do I even get pregnant with twins? And she had mentioned my age. She's like, just want to let you know, if you were to get pregnant again, more than likely, if you've been pregnant once with twins plus your age, the likelihood. And I'm in one ear, out the other, because I had just learned some crazy news, and then that news was taken away from me. And so I was going through all these emotions, and then so in one ear, out the other, And so I had my son Rhett, and I started posting about my pregnancy, because it was COVID, about what I'm packing in my hospital bag. And at the time, maybe there was 10 moms on TikTok, talking about motherhood. Now it's I'll throw a baseball at my front door here and hit a mom who's posting on TikTok about their life. But at the time, nobody was really doing it. And I went to school for broadcast journalism, radio, TV, film. So I've been editing since the 8th grade. I was in digital video editing. I could edit an ad in 30 seconds. I'm the quickest editor on the planet. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Making short form content, my ADHD never let me do the 10-minute YouTubes, but at the time, TikTok was 30 seconds. I'm like, I could do 30 seconds. I could do a minute. Once we got to do 3-minute TikToks is when I really started opening up more about my story and going into more detail. And I really like that aspect of TikTok. And then maybe 2 years ago, I started doing Instagram. I don't know why I had never posted on Instagram before. I always had kind of this like private account, but I think it was because TikTok, I didn't know anybody. And
Yeah,
so anyone that was judging me, I'm like, okay, whatever. But like, it's like you go on Instagram, it's like people are on there. And I'm like, if anyone's
sure.
going to judge me, the people that I know. But, luckily when was making content, and I got real heavy into my story and, losing my son to a Baltic camera teething necklace at a negligent daycare. I started talking about how to find a safe, affordable childcare, how to not get bamboozled by schemy marketing on baby products. And I loved reviewing baby products. Actually, I had this like random blog back in the day when my son Deacon was born where I reviewed baby products. Like, this is nothing new. Like, I loved reviewing baby products back then. I love it now. I'm like, I nerd out over baby gear, but I put the aspect in there of like what's safe versus what's not. Like, you could see I have like 500 baby carriers here in the back, all the baby products that I'm like reviewing this week. But
I love that.
um, there's always like marketing schemes. I'm like, I very much appreciate like our ASTM standards and the CPSC. And we'll have to get into it in the end, but there's a lot of the most popular twin gear that I will never use or support because of they don't pass standards. And I think it's been interesting in the twin mom community of the twin moms are like, well, it doesn't matter because twins. It's just so hard. Like, there's nothing else to use. And so I'm like, wow, like we kind of lower our safety standards as twin moms because we're desperate. And then some things don't exist. So that the baby gear industry for twin moms has been like very eye-opening for me. I'd love to see changes in the future. But I just started posting. I'm still doing the same thing to this day. But when I got on Instagram at that point, I was like earning money. I was doing brand deals. And so when I got on Instagram, I'm like, okay, well, if anyone's going to make fun of me, like, whatever, I'll just like laugh walking my check to the bank. Like, you know what I mean? So,
There you go.
but I
Exactly.
think for the most part, I'm sure people that know me personally think that my videos are super cringy, but I am very proud of the content that I put out. And I think that there's like a mission behind it. And I think that it's educational. And sometimes I do look back at my content and I'm like, that one was cringy. Oh, you opened up about grief and you cried on camera again. Like, but I'm like,
But
any
that's
way that
so
I could.
real.
Yeah.
It's so
So
real.
any way that I could like tell my story, and sometimes it's just a 10-second clip of like, hey, I'm like, finally getting rid of something of my son's, or, oh, I
Mm.
noticed today, like sharing like a 10-second clip of like, oh, I noticed today one of my girls like really resembles like my son Deacon
Mm.
in this way. Like, and I'll share like just little things and like putting all the pieces together. I'm like really trying to share the story of my life and the pain, but also like the resilience, and, the pain never goes away. It just becomes more manageable. And also being able to do it online and having so much fun doing it. Like, it's really fun. Like, I love going to Mom 2.0 and I love meeting other mom creators and the podcasters and the book writers. And I just think that moms using their stories for good is like the coolest thing. So,
Yeah, I think that's so huge. And I feel like what a way to turn that grief and that pain into purpose and to help other parents. So I know that you do like child safety and you're a
mhm.
big advocate for that. I think a lot of people are scared to share that vulnerability. So I just commend you and your bravery for sharing everything to help other people, because I know that isn't easy to do. And it's not cringe at all. It is real and raw and what other moms like need to hear. So if someone says you're cringy, then that's like,
I'm sure it's like in inner chat threads, which is fine. I just don't want to know about it. But yeah, I think too, what's been great is when I look at my son, I tried every time I post a video, I'm like, is this making him proud? Like, am I
mhm.
doing this in his honor? Like, how is this coming across? And so I think I was getting like very passionate about baby products and safety, so much so that it was like sometimes my comments would come off like a little harsh or shameful. And I've like deleted a lot of videos. Like when I became a child passenger safety technician, it's a good, better, best scenario. So, and I look at the same with like the twin products and why twin moms make decisions, and they probably don't even know, but there's a good, better, best scenario, right? Like there's the best scenario, which is to do this. And there's a better scenario. It's like, okay, we'll just make sure we're doing this safely. And then there's like, oh, whatever. So when I'm making content, I try to keep that in the back of my mind where it's like, no one's like deliberately doing these things like on purpose or wrong. Like they're doing the best with the information they have, just the information is wrong. So I've changed my tone a little bit, which actually has like lowered my anxiety because I think you post and it's like, is this going to come all controversial? Like whatever, especially with other moms. So sometimes like I saw a mom post yesterday, her baby's in her crib and the baby's swaddled, probably like 6 months old, rolling around. There's like
Mm,
blankets in there. And so I just was like, hey, can I send you a sleep bag? Just, you don't
mm.
need to use a swaddle. Like, I don't know if she doesn't have one. Let me just send you a sleep bag. And here's just like the risks. I can offer you more resources, like if you want. Now, she did write back and say, my baby doesn't need a sleep bag until they start rolling, which the baby was rolling, but neither here or there. But it's like, I'm like, at least I tried, and I have a lot
Yeah.
of sleep bags and I could offer that. But like, I think before I would have been like, your baby's gonna die, like if you don't put them in the sleep bag, like death. And I think it's
Well,
because I could so easily talk about death, like with the car seat safety. I'm like, baby could die. Like, so I'm like, no, that is a harsh word that has become normal for me. But to anyone else, it's like really harsh. Like, how do we tone it down and talk about like, this could be tragic, without saying like, your baby's gonna die. So I've had to like over the years, like change my tone a little bit, but I'm
that's so
still
hard
also
though.
equally as passionate.
That's what I was, yeah. Like when you're so passionate about something and you can see something that can be prevented, I understand that passion that comes with that you just want to help other people. That's where it's coming from, like that place of wanting to be helpful. But I love the
Well,
way
and
that you phrased that to that
yeah,
mom, because I feel like that wasn't judgmental at all. It was like helpful. I'm offering you guidance.
and then if they shut it down, it's just like move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
one thing that I've noticed a little bit is the approach of like there's like the shit sandwich. I don't know if I could say that on your podcast, but
You can
where,
say,
you could say something really nice, like, oh my gosh, like I love your crib. Like that crib is so cute. Is that the Gap collab from Delta? Like whatever you want. And just be like, hey, I noticed your baby is like rolling. There's a point in the video where your baby's face is on a blanket. Like, I'm not sure if you're aware, but there's been some tragedies and it's called rebreathing and this and that. And then be like, but like, I'd love to send you a sleep bag. You could just try it out. Like, it might be a little transition. So it's like something nice, meat and potatoes, something nice.
yeah.
And I feel that works like 8 out of
Well,
10
because it's
times.
coming from a place that's like a respectful, non-judgmental, where it's really just like educational. Like, okay, a big thing in my family, all of my kids are like, my boys are in the second percentile. They are teeny tiny. They are not going to
Okay.
be forward facing for years, years and years and years. And my mom is like, they're 3. Why don't you turn them? And I'm like, do you want to watch this video of this like
Yeah.
car seat when it's rear facing versus forward facing and what it does to your spine? And I showed her the video and she was like, oh, like she literally didn't know how that affected like the little bodies. She just was like, oh,
Hmm.
they're 3, they should be forward facing. And then once I showed her that, she was like, okay, I get where you're coming from. And she's kind of been more respectful of that. And it really came from a place of her not knowing.
Yeah, they just don't know, especially like grandparents. I'm working with a new car seat company that just came to the US. And this car seat company actually doesn't have forward-facing seats. They're from
Oh, okay.
Sweden, I believe. They're from Sweden. It's called X-Kid, and they don't have forward-facing seats. So they believe that the child should be rear-facing until they're able to be in a booster seat around 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And some people in the UK laugh at us that we forward face our kids at all, that we even have forward facing seats, which is
Oh, wow.
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's also this statistic of we've actually never seen a spinal cord injury on children who have rear faced in car seats. You only see those in forward facing because
Wow.
of spinal maturity. It's just your bones are like mush still for kids. So, especially until that like 6, 7, same reason why we don't jump on trampolines, like that 6, 7 age. So it is really interesting, but there's either the pediatricians or somebody's, the grandparents or whatever of like, now they're 2, switch them. Some states it's 1, right? I mean,
Oh my
that's
God.
changing, but it's just people have in their mind that it's like at this age, now they could see the world. And it's like, and also get a spinal cord injury, but here we are.
It's not worth it.
So,
Like my
yeah,
daughter, I don't remember when we turned her forward facing, but it was a long time. Like, and she's very tall, so she would be
yeah,
rear facing and her legs were kind of, like bent a little bit. And my mom was like, "She is so uncomfortable." I'm like, "No, she's not." And she doesn't even
yeah.
know what she's missing because she's our oldest, so she's never seen anyone forward facing. I'm like, I would rather her knees be a little squished per se than her have a spinal cord injury that she will have to deal with for the rest of her life.
Well, and
So,
I think also with that is, kindergarteners can sit crisscross applesauce for an entire year, every single day. They don't even have desks, some of them. And we couldn't because we're adults. We're bigger. Our bodies are different. Our bodies hurt. We got muscles, like all these things. But these little kids, like it really is not a bother to them. But we just assume like how we're feeling is how they're feeling. So it makes
sure.
sense that people think that way. But I've learned so much about car seats. It's been crazy, and I just love what our manufacturers are doing. I mean, everyone's just like safer, 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 safer. Like it's incredible what they're doing. I'm really proud to like be in this industry right now when it comes to car seats. There's so many even super inexpensive options
Mm,
that, you know, that someone should feel like really proud that they live in a time where they don't have to spend an arm and a leg and still have like just as safe of a car seat.
yeah. I think that's such a good point to bring up because I think a lot of people think that like safety equals expensive. I mean, I even think that. And I feel
Yeah.
like that's good to know from an expert that that's not the case.
I use budget friendly baby gear. And people find that they're like, you could have whatever you want. Now, yes, I have a $1,200 car seat in the garage that I've reviewed and I've used. And I have a $100 car seat in the garage that I have reviewed and I also use. And that's just how much that people just assume like, super expensive means safe when they're all passing the same standards. Now, I will say
Mm,
some car seats have e- extra safety features, but when it comes to doing those crash tests, it's a pass or fail, and they've all passed those crash tests.
mm.
So people
Okay.
should be happy about that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really good to know. Okay, I have a couple more follow-up questions on this, but before we do, normally at the beginning of the podcast, I ask a question and I skipped over it because we were getting into the
Mm.
meat and
Yeah,
potatoes.
yeah, yeah.
But I normally ask mamas how they filled their cup today. So I want to take a little pause so that we can do that. Have you filled your cup today, or do you have plans to fill your cup?
Okay,
Uh-oh.
honestly, this is like the one day. This is most days, like no filling my cup at all. But this is the one day where I'm like, we have vacation Bible school. Okay, so I had to like wake up, baby. One baby gets up at 6, one baby gets up at 7. So, now the naps are off. I
Oh,
have to get
cute.
the 6-year-old dressed. He has to go to vacation Bible school. I almost forgot to feed myself. And then I have this, and then I teach at the new mom school, but it's also Prime Day. And so in the
Mm.
influencer world, like you got to keep up on Prime Day, like great opportunities there. And then I have to film an ad, and somehow I got to do that before 3. But I
Oh,
will say
girl.
this, I have literally filled up this cup with coffee twice today. Now, on most other normal days, like I do have time to go on like a walk or something like that. Today is not one of those days.
Yeah, that sounds just like at the conference, like you are booked, girl.
I keep telling myself, like, once I get to this day, like, it's going to calm down. I'm like, no, things keep on happening. You know what I keep telling people? I'm completely and utterly overwhelmed with the life of my wildest dreams. Like, all these things that I told you are like very quality problems, right? Like, oh, not got to take my kid to a really cool church camp. Like, my twins are healthy and up and, and like eating and like, I get to teach here and I get to do this podcast. Like all these things are like all great things, just like a lot of great things.
Yeah.
So that's the best way I could describe it. That's why I'm like, I'll never complain. It's just like I'm overwhelmed with like the life I've always wanted. You know what I mean?
That's so sweet. It's like, yeah, but that doesn't mean it's not hard. Like there's not enough time in a
Yeah.
day.
It's it's the time and it's the juggling. And I think it went from like, my career was like kind of taking off. And then also like you put on twins, but then like your career's still going, you know? And so I do have to tell myself like I have to like turn down a lot of things and I have to this podcast is actually gonna fill my cup, to be honest, because like sometimes I just like want to go to coffee with someone. Like I just need like 30 or 45 minutes to sit down at coffee with someone and have a conversation. And when you're on social media, it is like a very lonely life, right? Like everybody on the outside feels like that they know you. So no one's really like checking in on you. No one needs to invite you to coffee because like you're doing fine, like everything's good. Someone asked me the other day, like, yeah, so like what's good? Like, oh, is your inner circle talking about like what this topic? And I was like, inner circle. I don't have a chat thread. I don't got, people just have assumed like they see me online now. Everything's like good and dandy. But I'm like, sometimes just a lunch or a cup of coffee with someone will make my entire week. It's crazy. But I've talked to a couple content creators and I consider you a content creator, but I've talked to a couple content creators that they feel the same way, right? So it's this parasocial relationship that people are like, I totally know her. And I'm like, but I want to know about you. Like, I want to know about someone else. Like, what's going on? Like, I'm speaking to a wall, you know?
Sure.
And I don't know what the feedback is on the other side. Like, why did you end up going with that stroller that I got? Like, what was what I said that like triggered you to get that? Like, because you're having a third kid? Oh, I would have loved to know that. You know what I mean? So just certain things where I'm like, oh, because you're a twin mom, like, cool. Like, how do we connect, So for me, this is filling my cup.
Oh, well, I feel the same way. I love just having, yes, like kid-free time where we can connect and not be interrupted. It fills my cup too. I love talking to other twin moms and I just think it's really special to also talk to someone who has created this very successful business as a twin mom, putting purpose in the pain, things like that. It's very inspirational and I love to be able to learn from you and chat with you. So this is filling my cup too.
Yay. Go
Agreed.
us.
Agreed,
Go
girl.
us.
Yay. We're just filling our cups here. So I didn't want to get too far into the podcast without asking that because I feel like as busy moms, like we're just saying, it is so hard to actually find the time to do something intentional to fill our own cups, especially I am very impressed by you. I don't know how you're doing this all with how old are your twins? 9 months old?
9 months. Yeah. 9 months.
And you are exclusively
But
breastfeeding?
But I do have, yes.
I'm just like,
I do have a
mind blown.
nanny. I do have a nanny from 9:30 to 3:30,
Well, sure.
Mondays through Thursdays. I think that there's a lot of chitter chatter online of like the mom influencers, like they have nannies. Like, no, yeah, no, that should be assumed, but I always open up like, yeah, no, I do have a nanny. My husband also is a stay-at-home. He does real estate. But he's home, and then I'm doing my thing. So we do have help. And then Fridays we like to like take the girls out and go walk around the mall and get lunch or go to the beach or, whatever. So we try to keep Fridays like time with the kids,
I love
which
that.
is, yeah, which is not even just like walking around the mall. Like, I'm the type of person, I was going to put a video out and then I decided not to. Maybe I'll put it in trials. But, someone, the number one piece of advice that twin moms gave me was like, keep the girls on a schedule. You got to keep them on a schedule. And that's, if not, then they're napping at different times and it's this whole thing, and got to keep them on schedule. You got to feed them at the same time, like, and all this. And like, in the beginning, I was like so striving for this like schedule situation. And then I finally was like, this is not going to work for my life. Why is it not going to work for my life? Because I don't like to be home. Like, if I'm not in this office, like, I want to be at a park, I want to be at a coffee shop, I want to be at our little outdoor mall, I want to go to Disneyland, I want to go walk around the beach. Like, I do not want to be in the house. And so I had met this other twin mom in the wild, and she was also exclusively breastfeeding. So this is kind of how I feel like. I feel like as twin moms that we are living in an alternate universe than other moms. And not saying this is harder and that's harder. It's
just
just
different.
it's an alternate universe. Like, it's just a whole like time. And I say alternate universe, like, that's important because our time is cut in half. So, and so you have like the 2 under 2 moms, and that they're kind of like twin moms. And I'm like, no, it's just different. In fact, I'm sure that's could be even harder at times, to be honest. But we're in an alternate universe that they're doing every single thing at the same time. And your time is half and cut in half. So your day is cut in half, just like bath time, diapers, feeding, all of the things.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have your twin moms, and then you have your formula moms, your pumping moms, and your breastfeeding moms. And all of those moms are living in alternate universes from each other, because the formula moms, that's a lot of bottles to be washed. That's a lot of things to manage. That's a whole thing in and of itself, right? Then you have your pumping moms. I don't even know. Same thing, you're adding on the bottles, plus the pumping, plus the time and the feeding. Then you have your breastfeeding moms, where it's like, you're stuck with your baby. Like, they're attached to you most of the day. Like, one prop might come in here. And so we're all a little bit different in the feeding arrangements too, right? So sometimes you feel like, I'm like, I don't know if anyone relates to this, but I met a mom. She was tandem breastfeeding in the wild, had a mom thing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, me too. And we're talking, and she's just got it all together. Like, I mean, this girl, like, the way she was doing things, I was like, oh my God. Like, so I'm like, oh my God, you got it so together. And she had, like, I think even just put her babies down there, like, nap. I'm like, oh my gosh. So she was like, well, to be honest, we've only left the house 3 times. Now, at this point, my babies had been on 9 flights. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I had already traveled the country. We've already done all this stuff, like, every single day. So I'm like, okay, it's interesting. So I told her, I was like, yeah. She's like, we're very strict on schedule. They sleep through the night. They take these long naps. We're very strict on schedule, and nothing messes that up except that I'm here today. And so things are a little messed up. And I was like, that is so interesting, because I was like, I'm the complete opposite. Like, I don't care if it's, like, we're getting out, we're going to go do all these things, and they are going to have to just like adapt. And she was like, that literally sounds like my worst nightmare. So what I realized is, like, when it comes to twin advice, it's not that advice was bad, right? It's the top advice that twin moms gave me. It's that it was bad advice for me. So I go off of vibes. Like, someone starts sucking their thumb, someone starts rubbing their eyes, you're going down for a nap, and I'm hoping it's 2 hours. And if the other twin crosses over with you and I get an hour, great. If I don't, then this is a great opportunity for me to have one-on-one time with this baby or that baby, which I probably wouldn't have if they were on a strict schedule. So, and then sometimes they do sleep at the same time, and sometimes they wake up at the same time. And so, they slept in different sides of our bedroom, 2 bassinets on each side. They sleep in different rooms. Like, I do keep them separate just because nothing about them is scheduled or the same. So now, if I experienced the scheduled life, would I have something else to say? Possibly, right? But this is like, we're going off vibes around here. I don't know if it's the right thing. I don't know if it's the wrong thing. But once I gave up trying to do the schedule of it all, I just was like, okay, no, we just go with the flow now. I am pretty strict on like a bedtime though. No later than 7.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's
I'm in
I
bed at
like that.
7:30. No later. We start going down at 6:30. I get all the kids down,
I'm impressed.
So,
That's great. Well, and I think that's huge. I think as twin moms, like so with my daughter, I was insane. I was like, it is 12:03. She is not napping. Like it would bring me to tears. Like
yeah.
I think it was like a control thing. I had her during COVID. It was a weird time, you know. And I think I was
Yeah.
just like grasping onto what I could control, even though I could
Mm,
not. Like you cannot force anyone to eat or sleep, you know. But
yeah.
I was trying to. And then when I had twins, I like to call it like we have a flow. We have a rhythm that we follow that I'm like flexible with. And I'm just
Wait, I
impressed by
love that. I love that.
like I like a
You have a
schedule.
flow.
We have
Yeah.
a flow. Like we have a schedule. If it's an hour off or someone doesn't nap, like it's not gonna ruin my day like it did with my daughter. Like I would let it ruin my day. I would have a panic attack. I would cry about it. It was ridiculous. I also had like some postpartum depression and stuff going on.
Yeah.
So I just feel like I always joke that twins are so great for a recovering perfectionist. Like, oh, struggling with
Ooh.
that, like just have twins. It'll just knock you right off that, you know?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And you know what? That's so true. It's like, wait, what did you just say? I got to remember
Twins
that.
are so great for recovering perfectionists.
Yeah. You go from a type A mom to a type B mom real quick with
Yes.
twins.
And I'm
It's,
thankful because the mom that I was with my daughter was a stressed out mom, a mom who was like, this is what motherhood is like. I'm not having fun. And then I was kind of able to get to work through that. And then even more so once I had my boys, I'm like, okay,
yeah.
you only have the brain capacity to handle so much. Like certain things I just had to let go. Like that really doesn't matter as
Yeah.
much.
But I do sometimes get like jealous of like the schedule moms. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that does seem nice, Maybe one day I'll get there.
I feel like I
But
see like the pros and cons to both because how amazing that your twins like you know how to travel with twins and your son. That's a superpower,
we
you know?
don't bring him we haven't brought him on a lot of the trips. And they've been not like fun. They've been a couple
Like
family
work
trips, but
trips.
work stuff, right? So he
Sure.
was in
Yeah.
school when we went to Austin.
Yeah.
We just got back from Sacramento, but so he hasn't adding actually I tell people when we get on planes, they're like, oh my gosh, like the babies did so good. And I'm like, yeah, well, the 6-year-old wasn't here. Like it's actually the babies aren't the problem. Like they sit in their little car seats, they typically sleep, like that plane puts them out. It's the 6-year-old where it's like the iPad's not working, you didn't download Minecraft and this, it's like I need to watch the Minecraft movie for the 500th time today. And that's the problem on the plane with the 6-year-old. But, we figure it out and we make it work. And, will they remember all these things? No, but I will.
Sure, you will. And
So,
like you said, you're exclusively breastfeeding. That's you they have to come with
yeah,
you. What's the other
it was so funny because okay, so I'm having a way different like food feeding situation this time. So I tried the baby led weaning with my first son. My mom was like really involved in like help. I was a single mom helping me raise him. And she just was like, whatever we're eating, you're eating. And that's just kind of how it was. Like, I don't remember the month we started feeding him. I'm sure she probably started feeding him at like 3 months old. And I just like went with it. Right. Like she taught me how to bathe him. She taught me everything. With Rhett, I was like, I'm doing baby led weaning. Well, that was not working. Like, that was not working for us. And I just kept doing it. And he just wanted breast milk and he wasn't eating the food the way that I was making it. But I refused to do purees and now I have this like horrible eater. And like, it's this whole thing. And I wish I would have just like done the purees and not been so stressed about like finger food and like finger size and like all these things. Like, I was so caught up in that. And I think I was like making up for it. Like, I got to be the number one mom in like baby led
mm,
weaning. Well, with these girls, like they just started eating regular food. Like I give them purees sometimes. Sometimes I get a pouch. Sometimes I cut something in finger size. And these girls are plowing food every day. Just like they're crazy eaters. It's the craziest thing. So we're at dinner last night and I was telling my husband, I was like, I think that they're starting to be like not as interested in breastfeeding. And he's like, yeah, do you think they're like weaning? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, yeah, we got to figure out like the food and stuff with like the weaning. And I was like, I think they're like weaning himself. He's like, it's like baby led weaning. And both of us were like, wait, is that what baby led weaning stands for? I just thought, I'm like, baby led weaning means that you cut things the size of a finger. Like I don't know what BLW means. And both of us were like, oh my God, we're baby led weaning.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. I love that.
So I
light
told
bulb
someone
moment.
this morning, I was like, yeah, we're like, how to make the kids breakfast. We're baby led weaning. So I've just decided this morning, like, yeah, that's what we're doing. But I
That's
am trying
fantastic.
to wean. Now I breastfed my other son almost till like 3. So I'm trying to wean them at a year. I'm really happy with the journey. I'm feeling like some sort of way about the weaning. It just seems so like that's it, but they're naturally kind of doing it on their own.
Yeah.
So I don't want to force anything that doesn't need to be. And, you have to take in so many calories a day to like, in the beginning, I was like eating like 3,000 calories a day just to nurse the babies. And I just, I didn't lose weight this time, probably gained some weight. Like, it's just like, I'm excited to have them on this like other food journey and me start a different food journey for myself, and get a little bit of me back and like be able to get my nails done without having to take a baby with me, or be able to hop on a plane to go to a conference and like not have to bring the whole family. And so there's a lot of things I'm looking forward to, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, it seems so like, that's it, this thing that like I work so hard for that takes up so much time. And then it's just like seems a little final. So I'm struggling with that a little bit. But, I always know that like when I've been done breastfeeding my other kids, like I'm like, okay, like, like it was like so much going into it to ending the breastfeeding that like, but it wasn't that big of a deal. Like, I don't, so I'm trying to get through my head, like, it's gonna be fine.
I get that. I feel like it's so bittersweet, but I think a good thing that, like a great point that you were bringing up is you are going to get back so much freedom, like the freedom to
Yeah.
like move about the country, like
Yes.
without the
Or
babies.
go to dinner. I've actually never
Sure.
had a meal. Like, they only want to eat if I'm eating. We'll take them to a restaurant. They will sleep in their little stroller until the food comes. And it's like, we want our mom's
It's dinner
foods right
time.
now
Yeah.
at this point. Like, it does not matter.
When I was pregnant with the boys, I thought I was starving. And then I didn't tandem breastfeed, but I pumped exclusively for 7 months. Starving. I have never been so hungry in my life.
Yes.
I like my husband can like take down the food. I was like out eating him. I'm like, are you going to finish that burger? I was
Yeah.
so starving. And my goal was to make it a year. And I'm still proud that I made it 7 months.
I mean,
Pumping
that's
was,
insane. Like, when you think about it, with twins, if you look at the statistics of like any sort of breast milk at all for twins, it's extremely rare. Like, I think it's like 18% of moms do any sort of breast milk after the first 2 weeks.
oh,
So,
wow.
yeah. So just like 62% attempt, and then the percentages go down. So, I mean, anyone that's like, even moms that are like doing the NICU thing and also bringing in the breast milk and stuff, I'm like, hats off to you. Like, moms that are like, make it 2 weeks, right? Moms that make it 3 weeks, 6 weeks, like, hats off to you. Like, it is the hardest thing that I've ever done in my life. And maybe a little bit was pride because and I had made some videos that I was going to exclusively breastfeed my twins, and they're like, yeah, good luck with that. Everyone says that. And I'm like, oh my God,
You're
don't
like,
tell me I
watch
can't do
me.
something. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
and I think also what was happening is like, in COVID, now I was breastfeeding, but we had gone through this formula shortage, right? And I was
Yeah,
like, dude, what if something like that happened? And then it's
sure.
like, then we had this like botulism thing that now we've apparently had twice now. So it's like, all those things are, I'm like, okay, that takes work for that mom to then go find a different formula or whatever. I can't speak on formula. I've just never used it, but like I could imagine, right? So I was like, had the PTSD also from COVID. I'm like, what if something were to happen like that? Like I should just like really just like the first 6 weeks, just try to figure it out and then let everything go from there, you know?
Hmm. And you
So
did. You figured it out and you've been doing it for 9 months and at conferences.
yeah, but I have a lactation consultant that I like work with a lot. Like it's, I can't just take all the credit that I figured it out. Like the tandem breastfeeding didn't happen for about 6 weeks, but once it does happen, it's like, oh my gosh, you just saved yourself another hour, right? Almost of just
I
putting
think
them on at the same time.
I think that is such good advice is like sometimes you need expert help in an area and do it because it's going to help you. I feel like so I tandem breastfed one time in the hospital and my boys were like 3 hours old. And then it just got so hard. They weren't latching. And I kind of just didn't try again. Like I started pumping in the hospital. And then I was just like, okay, I guess I'm an exclusively pumping mom. And so
Yeah.
many twin moms I talk to, they're like, I don't know anyone who started out tandem breastfeeding. Like we worked on our latch with each baby individually and then tandem
Hmm.
breastfed. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, why didn't I think, yes. So I wish that I would have had a little bit more guidance, but I feel like I was like, okay, I made up my mind. I'm pumping and that's just what I'm going to do. And looking back, I wish that I would have like tried again, one at a
Yeah. And
time.
the first couple times that I attempted tandem breastfeeding, the lactation consultant came over. So so she'd be like, well, do it how you would try to do it right now. Like, go get the babies and put them on without like my help. So I bring over the bassinet, like try to put him on, and she's like, okay, so you're doing it wrong. But like, had I just attempted on my own and she wasn't there, I would have been like, oh, they need me like up and under, like
Yeah.
there was just so many things and I started working with the lactation consultant, way prior to even having the babies. So we had
Yes.
a set plan in place of like, I had a planned C-section. And then the babies had other plans. So that when I have a C-section, this is what's going to go down. This is what my husband's going to do. This is what I need to request. This. If the babies go to the NICU, this is what the plan is. This is what we're going to do. If by crazy wild chance I have a vaginal birth, no NICU time, which is like for twins rare, but then that did happen to me. Then this is the plan and this is what we're going to do. And so I had a lot of guidance and plan ahead of time. Like I just knew like whatever happens, like we still have options for breastfeeding. And some of it
Hmm.
was going to be pumping, right? So some of it was going to have to do with pumping, but it all worked out. And I also have to say for twin moms listening to this, like I did have a vaginal birth, no NICU time, went home the next day. So I know that that's not always like the case. So I was already like off to a good start, I would say, when a lot of times we know, my babies were 36 weeks, but like a lot of times we know like preterm, whatever the case is, like it's just as twins, we plan for that anyways. So I did have a little bit of a leg up on the breastfeeding, just it started off easy peasy. Like, and I thank God for that, but I don't want other moms being like, oh yeah, I'm going to do the same thing. No, because anything could happen.
Sure. Yeah. I think that's
So,
a good point to bring up. I feel like we could have a whole nother podcast episode about your birth story.
okay. So my birth story, I was fully planned for a C-section. I'm the type of mom, I go the least amount of risk. If someone says like, it's less risky if we just do a C-section from what we're looking at. I'm a big statistics girl, right? So when you look at the risk, benefit versus risk, it seemed like a safer option was a C-section. So I'm like, great. Also looking at the statistics, most twins end up in some sort of time for the NICU. It could even be like low blood sugar or something. Like it could be, doesn't matter. So I'm like, okay, I want a NICU tour. I want to know how the C-section is going to be. What does the OR look like? What do I plan for? And I was kind of just making it like a nail appointment. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to have my nail appointment, which is my C-section. And then this is like the plan. And then they might go to the NICU. I don't know. So I just planned for all of that. And then I went in at 36 weeks and I was doing like the every couple day NSTs.
Hmm.
And I went in and they're like, yeah, we're going to check you. And I'm like, okay. So I was like 36, maybe 36.4 or something. 36.3. So they checked me and they're like, yeah, you're like 5 centimeters, 90% effaced. Like, you need to go to the hospital. Well,
Oh
I
my
go to the
gosh.
hospital. The hospital is like full. So like, we actually can't admit you because you're technically not in labor. But we also can't send you home because you live in LA traffic. So we're worried that if your water breaks, they asked me, when your water broke with your last child, how long did it take you going to deliver? I was like, maybe 30 minutes. They're like, yeah, so we can't send you home, but we can't admit you. We need you to hang out here in the hospital. And I just was having like the worst. So I couldn't get epidural or anything. So I actually was in labor. I was having like back labor, but mind you, I've always been induced. So I've actually never felt contractions of any sort. Like, dude, get me the epidural the second my big toe steps on the parking lot of the hospital. Like, I don't
I
even
get
want to
that.
feel any pain. That's my vibe. I know people are like the all natural thing, not me. So I was like, having this worse back pain. But mind you, I've had back pain my whole pregnancy, but I was having these like spasms. I don't know what back labor is. I don't know what front labor is. Like, I don't know anything. So I'm there. Finally, like, they check me again. They're like, no, we have to admit her. Like, these babies are coming today. So I'm like, via C-section, like, what's the vibe? And they're like, well, we're going to attempt, they're both heads down. Like, you've had 2 vaginal deliveries. Like, let's just attempt. But I was like, no, because what if one comes out and the other one swims up? They're like, we're pretty good at like keeping them down there. And so I'm like, I start really looking into like, okay, well, how long does it take from one to the other? And like, now I'm ChatGPTing stuff because it's not really what I had planned for. So the nurse is like, no, you got this. Like, great. I'm like, okay, great. So then next thing I know, it's like 2:30 and I had the epidural at this point. And I'm just like, my back is killing me. I have no labor in the front, not any, like, no contraction. Like, put those contraction monitors on my back. Like, my back is killing me. And she comes in and she was like, I was like, my back is like really hurting. She's like, oh, these babies are coming. And a bunch of nurses ran in and like, in 4 minutes from when she said these babies are coming, one baby came out and I'm like, I don't know why, but I reached up and I like was holding her. And at this point, the doctor walks in and she's like, okay, push on 3. And I'm like, for the placenta? And she was like, no, the next baby. So there's a
While
picture
you were
of me,
holding your daughter?
because it happened so fast. So like the nurses, like, they push down on your stomach. Like, when the one baby started coming out, the nurse like pushes down on your stomach and like the doctor like holds on to the other baby's head and they're like they just like both came out. So there's a picture of me. I'll have to show you like privately, but there's a picture of me literally holding Bryn and Brady is coming out. And I'm like, no. And they're just
That's
like,
so intense.
she rips open my shirt. She's like, you wanted to breastfeed, right? And I was like, not anymore. Like, give me
Like,
a
I need to
break.
process what just happened.
Yeah. And so she's all rips off my shirt, pulls it down, like, my boobs are out. And she's like, both of these nurses are just holding the babies on my boobs. And they're like, yeah, good job. And I'm like, I don't even
You're
know
like,
what
what just
happened.
happened?
Because
Okay,
we were
so
supposed to be going into an OR, but we didn't make it. So like, my
is
husband's
this
just
like
like,
in the hallway?
no, we were like in a room kind of getting ready to go to an OR, but my husband's like still like holding on to like the IV thing. He was just like, didn't know what was happening. He's
what
like,
do I
you
do?
okay? Yeah. So he's like in the pictures, he's kind of like in the corner, like thinking like, are we going there? Like,
Right.
It's just everything happened so fast. But yeah, so they're like, okay, do you need anything? And I'm like, sushi? And my husband's like,
Yes.
I'm ordering every single freaking sushi roll on the menu. Like, I'm going to this place. I'm ordering it here. We're going to DoorDash it, right? And like, literally, like, they're still like wrapping the babies up in like the sushi delivery. And the nurse is like, no, I get it. Like, you know.
That is so intense and so fast. So how many minutes apart are they?
They're 4 minutes apart.
It's so fast. I cannot. So I also had my boys vaginally and no NICU time. I'm so thankful. They were very, very small, but no NICU time. And I remember they gave me baby A. I had an induction. It wasn't like fast and furious like your birth, but I was holding my son, baby A, and then I was like, "Can someone take him?" Like, I have to. So I'm so impressed that you were holding your baby while baby B came out.
I don't know why they like let me. I don't know why.
They should have.
Like, yeah, like, and when she started coming out, I kind of like reached up and was like, I need my baby now. Like, I don't know. It was like a reflex of some sort. But, and then when they gave me two babies at once, I was so overstimulated, and I've been overstimulated since. I've been touched out since that moment.
I have
I just
like when I
remember like overstimulation, like there's too many people in the room, there's too many babies, and I was like overstimulated. And then
that
ever
is
since
my
then,
favorite quote.
it's been the same.
That is
Yeah.
my new favorite quote I've ever heard. I did deliver in the OR, and it was also the most overwhelming experience because I knew there were going to be a lot of people there. Oh my God. There was like,
Because you have your birth nurses, and then you also have like the OR people, like just in
yes.
case.
And it's like two of everybody. It's like two NICU nurses, I had two anesthesiologists. And then they asked me when I was in labor, like, hey, do you care if nursing students come watch? And I thought, that's cool, whatever, that's fine. In retrospect, I didn't realize there were going to be like 15 people in the room, or I would have been like,
Yeah.
maybe not, maybe not. So I feel you. Overwhelming,
Yeah.
overstimulating, all of it.
Yeah.
That's what an
We just
amazing
get
story.
it doesn't get less overstimulating. You just like get used to it.
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah. You
absolutely.
like
That's so right.
overstimulate. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So,
but yeah, okay. So the biggest thing that I've had the most fun with is the baby products. Because I've
yes.
reviewed literally everything. Waddle is one of my favorite products for a twin mom, a
What is it
breastfeeding
called?
twin mom. It's called the Waddle. It's a smart
Mm-mm.
changing pad. So it's a smart changing pad. So it's like a nursery bestie, but it has a hospital grade scale.
Oh,
So you could do
cool.
feed in ways. It's the best
Hmm.
scale on the market, in my opinion. The best pump on the market is the for twin moms is the Baby Buddha 2.0.
Okay.
Um, now I won't say necessarily. I would say for advanced moms, like it's got a pull. It pulls out more milk than any other pump on the market. And I have probably tested every single pump. The best hands-free pump right now is the Eufy. However, for a twin
Mm.
mom, you could only pull 4.5 ounces on each side.
Oh,
So if
okay.
you have an established like then you got to pop it off, and then like you know, so
Sure.
that's the only downside, where the Baby Buddha 2.0 also has a hands-free pump, which isn't as strong as the Eufy, but it also has big cups. And then I do love like the Baby Bjorn bouncer. Like I feel like we use those hardcore. I never double wore. Did you wear your babies? Like the
I
WeGo or
just did
anything?
one at a time. So with my
Me too.
daughter, I had the Sully baby wrap. And I feel like we always joke, my boys did a good job of like, of course they cried at the same time, but I feel like one would like really want to be
Yes.
worn while one would be okay. So I just wore one at a time. I know some people don't like the Sully wrap because it's like you have to do it all the ties, but
Yeah.
I loved how they felt on me and how it just felt like
Yes.
a shirt. I
Yes.
tried the structured carriers, and I feel like it just depends on your preference. I didn't love the structured carriers because I felt like I have sensitive skin, and I felt like I would almost
Mm.
get like rashes from, and I can't
Yeah.
even think of like
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
certain
Yeah.
carriers I use, but it was almost like maybe I was wearing it incorrectly, but it would like dig into me. So I didn't double baby wear. I just wore one
Okay.
at a time.
Yeah. So I did like I kept telling people, I'm like, I literally just got done carrying like two babies at once. Like, give me a break. I don't want to put them back on me. But a couple times I did the solely wrap. Well, I think I had the boba, same
Mm.
situation, cloth wrap. I would
Hmm.
cloth wrap them a couple times. But then it's like one of them's over it, and it's like, man, I just spent 5 minutes putting them in there,
I
both of
would
you in there, and then
wear
you got to
it
take them both out, you know?
I would wear my Sully wrap like around the house, like with
Yeah.
no baby in it. Like it
So
was
I
tied
do
on.
that now. So
Yeah.
I have like it always looks like I'm walking around town with an apron on, because I just like let the carrier flop over, which is nice because it covers my mom pooch. And then one baby always needs to be worn, but I never feel either that they need to be worn at once. So I'm not a huge fan of the twin carriers. I think that they could be used for a small amount of time, and then they're too big to carry two babies like that.
Mm.
I like hats off to the moms that do it on the front and the back. But yeah, I'm not a fan of like twin carriers either. I do have like a nice woven wrap that I used a couple times, but again, take some time to put them on for babies that are antsy, you know?
Sure. Yeah,
So
absolutely. Well, I
But
love going
yeah.
all over all of these. So, what are like you already talked about so many awesome twin mom products. What are like your ride or die, like top two, top three, gotta have
So
it for twin mom?
the best high-end twin stroller, and people are gonna be like, what about the Bugaboo? You probably have the Bugaboo, I feel like. Yeah, you have the Bugaboo. You're giving Bugaboo.
I have I had the Up a Baby stroller system and then they've
Okay.
outgrown that and now we just have like a cheap Jeep one.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
because
Well, and
my
that's
kids
the
are
thing.
also like almost out of that age. Like we have a wagon and we do more wagon walks
Okay,
than
so you're
strollers.
like you're a wagon mom.
I'm a wagon mom. Yeah.
Okay, so I love a side by side. I do have the mocking. I've reviewed every single twin stroller. So I do like the Mockingbird. They have a great rider board, but it's like a boat in terms of
Mm,
movability. I always tell parents, like, for a single stroller, it's great. Like, get that before the Vista, save yourself some money. It's great. When it comes to needing two, a side by side. Now, there
mm-hmm.
is a really, for twin moms listening, there is a really good twin stroller coming out that is going to be not as expensive as like a Bugaboo Donkey, but it is going to, it's the Valco, and I believe he's calling it Snap Ultra
Mm,
Duo. And so it's two seats. It actually could take two car seats, and the seats could face you. They could face either way.
that's cool.
And they're high end seats, and it's a flat fold. It's pretty like compact also. I have the Valco Twin Duo, but I have some issues with it, really bad storage space. But it's pretty easy to compact and everything. I'm just in a zone right now where it's like the simpler, the better, the more
Mm-hmm.
lightweight, and just so I got that Zoe Twin V3. And does it have as nice of wheels as the Valco? Like, in materials, like it has some pretty good materials, but magnetic chest clip. Oh, the Valco has the worst chest clips. But the new one, the Snap Ultra, it's gonna have really nice harness clips. The
Mm-hmm.
Valco V3, oh my God. Game changer. That thing weighs nothing. I'll rip that out of the car. Boom, boom, snaps on a rider board. I got all three of my kids. Like, it is
Love that.
super, super easy. So I always tell mom, like, if you want to spend, $2,300 on the Bugaboo Donkey, I would say X&A that. Go get yourself like a nice twin stroller that you want, and then like an easy travel twin stroller. But I actually don't travel much with twin strollers. I use two strollers, and sometimes I'll like connect
Mm,
them that go with the car seat. And I use the Joy product. I use a lot of Joy products. They came out with the twin stroller, not a fan, but the Zoe Twin B3 like should be on everyone's registry. I love that thing. Just like me at this point, 9 months, where the girls are wiggly and like, and it's lay
yes.
flat. You could use it from birth with twins. From birth, it's lay flat. You don't need a bassinet. It has a cocoon feature.
I love
It's,
that.
yeah,
I watched your review and was like, that's cool. I feel like there are so many more twin products coming out. And I'm like, man, I wish that would have existed 3 years ago. It's really cool.
yeah, yeah. We need more though. Like, there's so many twin moms. And I feel like we're makeshifting things all the time, right? To like
Yeah.
try to
Hmm.
figure things out. Like, we're makeshifting a lot of things. So I would love to see more easy, lightweight items for twin moms.
I think that's the biggest
I
thing.
don't know.
Like, I love the wagon that I have. It is so heavy. I'm like, I
Which one
wish
do
I
you
could have
have?
the Kenzie. It's
Okay, yes.
so like KEENZ. It's
Mm-hmm.
so heavy.
Yeah.
Like maybe 50 pounds, like
You
maybe
know
more.
the radio flyer. I've been reviewing a couple of those. Now, I'm a wonderful mom, like through and through. I got the VW, and like if you have twin girls, like the VW wagon, it's
It's so
just
cute.
I love twin attention. Like, I love people constantly asking me about twins and are they fraternal or identical, and they literally look different. But I like the matching clothes. Like, there is nothing like love going to Costco, and I'm like, people are going to talk to me today. Like, I love
It's
this, right? Like,
always at Costco. At
yeah,
Costco,
but
I
I
feel like
just like
everyone like flocks.
I just love the attention. I'm an attention whore. Okay. Like, and bring the twin girls. Like, I bring on all the questions. I freaking love it. But the Wonderfold is very heavy, but they're starting to make them with aluminum. So they're less
Mm.
heavy. So I just got a 4-seater Wonderfold and it's less heavy. But the radio flyers are pretty lightweight and they like also get the job done. Great shade, not as heavy,
Do they
nice
have a
wheels.
4-seater? I feel like I
Yeah, it's
haven't
called
looked into that.
it's called the Pathfinder. It's
Okay.
in my
Because we
garage. I
had,
haven't reviewed it.
I mean, I feel like that's so nostalgic. We had a radio flyer with my daughter, but it was like a 2-seater and it was really just, I feel like it fit her fine. And then we did shove all three into that. And I was like, I need a bigger wagon. And I liked how the Kenzie one was a little bit higher up. And I like how it's sturdy. I want a sturdy wagon, but I wish that it was lighter. And I wish that I would have gone in person. Like, I feel like I don't really know where you can do that. Like, baby, what's it called? Babies R Us is like not a thing anymore. What was the
Yeah,
other
Bye Bye Baby
company?
is gone. Well,
Bye Bye
and that's
Baby.
yeah, and that's what is like the hardest thing is like and then you go to Target and everything's been tarnished, right? So then you're like, why is this stroller like all a little rickety and crickety? It's like, no,
Mm-hmm.
because the employees have thrown them around. Like it's missing a canopy. It looks like crap. Like Target does a horrible job at like showcasing products. Like you're the only one left and you can't even do it right. The people
Yes.
at Nordstrom's are like, it's like, yeah, I'm looking for a stroller. Let me introduce you to the Nana Mix next. Okay, your kid is gonna look like a giant when they're 2 sitting in that stroller. Like it sucks. But it's just like, let me show you, like you come into Nordstrom and show you the most expensive stuff we have. It's like, I hate them too. But you almost have to go off of the reviews of regular
Yeah.
schmegular mom. And I'm not even talking about me, right? Of regular schmegular moms on the internet and really hear like what they like and what they don't like, right? So you're talking about like the Kinsey it's heavy. Okay, I'm talking about like you find something with aluminum. It's you cut the weight in half, you know? We really have to
Mm-hmm.
rely on each other for buying baby products. And the manufacturers they still like I think Kiko is one of the best baby gear brands on the planet. I think they make quality gear. They've been around forever. I feel like we need a refresh on marketing because I will stand by that they're one of the best brands. They have some of the best stuff and nobody knows about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah, I'm
like,
like, I don't know if I know that
yeah,
brand.
well, you'd
Yeah.
probably call it Chico.
Oh, yes, I would have. How
Yes,
do you say it?
Kiko.
Oh, yeah, no, I can see it now. And I'm like, yeah, no,
Yes.
I didn't.
Yes,
That's
yes,
funny.
exactly. So there's just like, so what we do here is like about the brands that do have decent marketing, which is like gonna be the Nuna and the Up a Baby. And like they have some really good marketing. Cybex has some great marketing. Like they have this really great marketing. And yet it's like some of this I do recommend a lot for different lifestyles, different people, different things. But some of my most recommended gear is just like not known at all, you know? Even though they've been around the longest, they're some of the best quality. They have great fabrics that are natural flame retardants. Like I love Kiko. I'm like, we gotta refresh the marketing. Get me some Gen Z moms in there and just
Yeah.
ramp it up, you know?
Totally. I love what you're doing. Moms want that honest feedback about what they're going to spend a lot of money on. And when I bought my Up a Baby stroller, Bye Bye Baby was still a place when I had my daughter. So I got to
Hmm.
go in, try it, ride it around the store, and be like, I feel comfortable spending $1,200 on this, travel system or whatever. Where now it's like you're saying, we don't
Yeah.
really have that anymore. It's not meeting this,
Mm-mm.
those in-person standards that we had in other stores. So I love what you're doing of like, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to tell you what I like, what I don't like, and why. And I think moms need that because you're not really getting it anywhere else. You can read reviews,
Yeah.
sure, but actually like seeing your videos and seeing what you do and your honesty is super refreshing.
Well, and I think like another topic that's like coming up is like the Chinese products. So like the Groundsy of it all, the Mom Cozy, the Eufy, the Papablick, like these companies that are popping up with some of these products. And I am pleasantly surprised by some
Hmm.
of the baby food makers, some of the bottle washers. Like the Eufy is the best twin product on the market when it comes to bottle washing.
Hmm.
It has the largest storage. Now, it takes up a shit ton of room on your freaking counter, but a lot of
Worth
twin
it.
moms, they're getting two bottle washers. This new one, it's nice. You just set it up on your phone. But I'm like, some of these Chinese companies are creating some like really good pumps, really good, like the Mom Cozy and the Eufy of it all. Like they have come in crazy with some good technology, you know? So I'm
Mm-hmm.
interested to seeing like now I don't like the marketing of a lot of the Chinese brands. Like it's a lot of AI, there's a lot of unsafe marketing. And so I wish that if they could focus on like adopting our standards and making safe videos and spending the money making real videos and not AI and having a mom feeding her baby in the front seat of a
Yeah.
car via I would be more apt to even show off the products more. But
Yeah.
yeah, like the Chinese brands, like people like, should I stay away? Well, I'm like, well, every single one of our baby products is from China. Some of the actual companies just like also reside there, you know? So yeah, so it's like they're coming out with some really good stuff too. Just we need to tweak the marketing a little bit.
Let's review that. What are your top 3 ride or die products that you're like, every twin mom needs this? The Zoe stroller.
The Zoe
Can you not? Is it too
stroller,
hard to pick?
and it might not, no, it's too hard to pick. The Zoe V3. V3, okay?
Okay.
It needs to be one of your strollers. And you might have the V3 in a wagon. You might have the V3 and a Mockingbird that you had with your first and you get the second seat, or the Vista you had with your first and you get the second seat. You have to get the Zoe. So plan accordingly. Okay. I would say 2 baby Bjorns. You don't want to get the baby Bjorns, get the baby delights. It's the same thing, right? I love the baby Bjorns. I just think the quality is really, really good. But get 2 of the bouncers. I
Yeah.
don't believe in swings or containers like that. I believe in products where your baby's creating their own movement. So I don't
Hmm.
have any mechanical bassinets or any mechanical anything. Just anything, just flat items that the babies would move themselves in. And then I don't have any of the twinsy or the table for 2 because I didn't bottle feed. Not my choice. The babies didn't take bottles. Like I would have been fine if people wanted to take that off of me. But yeah, so that, and then I think for twins, if it's your first 2, rotating car seats. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
do you use rotating car seats?
I don't, but
Yeah, I'm going to guess you
I
have
feel like
even
there are
flow slims. Oh, okay.
yes, I do. I have yes, I have the slim fit. Like ding 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 because
Oh, yeah,
I have a
okay.
minivan. I have a minivan now, but I used to have a Jeep Grand Cherokee and all 3 of my kids were in rear facing car seats. So we needed to find a way for those all to
Mm.
fit. Where now everyone's kind of spaced out a little bit, but
Yes. I'll just touch on car seats. I actually went with baseless car seats so that I could get my
mm,
son into the back and then I put the babies in. So he never had to step over bases or anything like that.
sure.
And then I use rotating car seats for the girls because I could rotate them in. My son could get in to the back seat and then I rotate him backwards. So,
So smart.
and I use
I feel like
the Joy chili spins,
okay. I feel like so many of
which
these
is like
things were
pretty
like
budget friendly.
yeah, that's so great. I feel like so many of these like baby products were like just coming out as I became a twin mom. Like I feel like I heard about a rotating car seat after we already bought everything. And I was like, whoa, that is so a brilliant idea. Why haven't we been doing this for like decades? You know?
Yeah, we didn't. So, because you have a 6-year-old?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't have rotating car seats were like barely scratching the surface and people were questioning them. And now I feel like it's like the standard. I don't know one company that doesn't have, so every company has a rotating seat, which is crazy.
I love that. It's so efficient and brilliant. And I wish that I wish I had them.
And then the Eufy bottle washer for twin moms. I don't
hmm
recommend it for singleton moms. I think there's one that's a little bit better, but if you have twins, that's the best one
Just
for
because how
sure.
many bottles you can fit in at one time.
Yes. and you could schedule it, right? So as the day's going, you could fill them up and then it just auto runs. And so
Love
it
that.
does everything like for you. Yeah. And then it dries. So everything's dried. Like the only thing it doesn't do is put the bottles back together.
That's next.
Yeah.
That's
No, I'm
brilliant.
sure robotics, like, yeah, someone's coming out with that.
Okay, and do you have time to tell us maybe like your top 3 baby safety tips?
So my top 3 baby safety tips. One is habit changing. So cooking on a back burner, or if you are making your kids mac and cheese, putting it on the back burner while you go get the butter and the milk. Also, another habit is when you're pregnant, like you should be holding on to railing, but if you're the type of person that like runs down your stairs real quick, I was that type of person, like we need to slow down. We need to hold a railing because we're going to have a baby in our hands. So for twins, that might mean one at a time. I don't carry 2 babies at once downstairs. I don't do it. We don't want to step over baby gates while holding our babies.
Mm.
So we want to put the baby inside the gate and then either we hop over or vice versa. And then always get down to your baby's level. This is the number one tip. So we don't just like go and be like, oh, our babies are crawling. Let's baby proof our plugs and get gates and do this and baby proof. No, it's always changing, right? So once they get to a certain age where they can surf a couch, what else could they surf? They could surf a toilet, and that's where risk is.
Oh.
So if they're starting to climb up on the couch, we love to see them surf the couch. We love to see them climb up on the couch. Like these are all developmentally great things. But if they could climb up on the couch, they could also climb up on a shelf. So anything with a door, drawer, shelf needs to be anchored. And we don't really want to wait until that happens. So toilet locks, anchoring, baby gates should be mounted. You could fix a hole in your wall. You cannot fix a hole in your heart.
Mm.
And we want to keep everything up, away, and out of sight of children, medications, Tide Pods. We don't ever take our Tide Pods and put them in glass jars. Some influencers started doing that on Amazon. And I love Amazon, but I hate Amazon. And I don't know why we did that when they engineered these pumpkin freaking things to keep our Tide Pods safe. And now people are putting them in their mouth. So
Mm.
up, away, out of children, medications, gummies, and that could be medications or other things. Vices, everything up, away, out of children. Just get a bin, put it up. So those would be like my biggest safety things. Always buckle your child in the stroller. A snack tray is not a buckle. So we
Mm.
always buckle them in no matter what. And a chest clip on a car seat is called a chest clip, not a belly clip,
Mm. Mhm.
for a reason. I could go off on so many more, but those are some safe ones. No weighted sleep products on or around the baby, including weighted sleep sex.
Mm. Okay. These are
That's also
good. I'm
another big
like
one.
I feel like so many things I'm like, "Oh my gosh." Like when you said the toilet thing, like if they can cruise the couch, they can cruise the toilet. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that is like I had never thought of that." Like luckily we're out of that stage now, but oh my gosh, that's such mind
Yeah.
blown. Such good tips.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
could like go off on like safety tips, but those are a few like little things that I think people can remember, my little sayings.
Yeah, I think that's what's super helpful. Like anything where it's like a little sing-songy, people aren't going to forget that. And
Yeah.
I love that. I think moms need to hear all that stuff to keep their kids safe, especially from like everyday items that maybe you wouldn't think twice about.
Mm-hmm.
You just posted about if anyone has ever called poison control, and I
Yeah.
have. I called poison control. I was doing my daughter's nails and the cuticle cream comes in like a squirt bottle. And I was like, doing her nails or whatever. And then my son grabbed the cuticle cream and like drank it. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, what
Oh,
are you
yeah.
doing?
So
And there's
I
like
think you
super
mentioned
intense stuff and
you
cuticle
wrote
cream.
that in
I
you
did.
wrote that in there, right? Okay.
Hmm.
And so did a lot of other people. I wasn't going to out everybody, but some person said that their babies took weed gummies that were not theirs, but that someone that was staying at their house had brought over, and they're like in a little jar, and they took them to daycare, and like all the kids got high. And I
Stop
was
it.
like, are you in jail writing this?
Oh my
Or
gosh, that's so intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it turns out like the family, like they're like, we don't drink, smoke, do anything. So I wouldn't have even known
Mm.
myself what that is. Like I would not have even known. But they're like, we're a sober house. So when we had guests over, like they weren't going to be drinking or doing anything in front of us. I guess it's just easier to take like a gummy. And then someone else said that their kid took Advil to daycare. And I was like, okay, well, someone else already topped you. So don't even worry about the Advil at this point.
Well, and Advil is scary. I mean, most of those come with like a child safety top. So, and I feel like I like how you say, put it in the bin and put it up. Because one
Yeah.
time I ran out of Advil. So my mom poured some and gave it to me in a plastic bag. And I'm like, we need to
Hmm.
dispose of this immediately or put it back into like a child safety cap because they're sugar
Yeah.
coated. So some maybe like, I don't know why my son drank cuticle cream. I can't imagine that tasted good. Whereas like
Yeah.
a gummy or Advil that's sugar coated, it does taste good, at least in the beginning, you know?
Yeah.
So, oh
Hmm.
my goodness. I'm like, this is it.
Yeah.
The awareness is what's so important because I think people are like, oh no, it's fine. And then it's not. It's just a reminder to be extra cautious and watching your kids over things that you might not think of.
I teach at the new mom school. I teach today, actually. I'm like a visiting expert and I teach baby safety. And a lot of things I'm like, I'm going to spend the next hour telling you some crazy stuff. And you're going to be like, I'll never leave my house. And this is crazy and like not under my watch. But I'm like, I just like when you go home and you start cooking on the stove, you're going to be like, oh, I remember when she said this. Or when you go to put up the baby gate and you're like, do I mount it or do I drill it? You're going to be like, oh, I remember what she said. When we talk about going to people's houses that don't have pool gates, like you're going to remember what I said. So I think it's like all about like just awareness, just like have it in
Yeah.
the back. You don't need to live by, like, you don't need to live in fear, but have it in the back of your head. Like,
Yes.
we should just be looking out of a different colored lens when it comes to safety. And I'm telling you right now, I learn different things all day long. I see different things, but I also live in a state of panic always. But I have trauma there, so
Sure.
yeah.
Well, I think that's what's so beautiful. Like I've said throughout this podcast, is I think what you're doing is so beautiful to share these tips with other moms. So I'm just so thankful for what you're doing. And I want to be respectful of your time. I know you have a lot of things to do on your to-do list, but one thing I ask every mom in the closing of the podcast is if you could have a heart-to-heart with a twin mom or give her a piece of advice, what would you tell her?
That this stage is not going to last forever. So things are hard right now and things are going to be hard in the future, but they're going to be a different hard. And I heard something the other day that really stuck with me. And it wasn't that having twins as they grow gets easier. You just get better. And I just was
Hmm.
like, that is so true. Like nothing is getting easier. You're just getting better and you're the rock star. Like they're growing and having to is still hard. It's getting harder in different ways, right? 3, I'm sure, is hard in a different way than newborn is hard. Pregnancy was harder than infant stage, in my opinion. Like I wouldn't want to go through that again. Other people would say other things. We just get better.
Hmm.
So just remember that. That's what I would say.
I love that. And it's so true. Like you just get better at handling the chaos.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
well, Dani, thank you so much.
Yeah, I feel like we'll have to like hop on again. But
Yeah, absolutely. Episode number 2 in the future.
yeah, for
Thank you for taking the time out of your busy twin mom life to listen along. I hope this podcast shed some light on a topic that's been on your heart and gave you more confidence as a twin mama. If you know a twin mom, please send this her way. If you like what you heard today, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Check out the show notes to be connected with today's guest and get discount codes for brands I love. See you next Thursday. Until then, you were made for this.